Okay, so we are live with our second interview of the weekend for the first annual Iconic Fest in Brainerd, Minnesota. And we have Mark here with us. And I believe you were on, was American Idol, was it?
Yep.
Or was it, right?
I was on American Idol season 14 and The Voice season 4.
See, and I interviewed somebody else from The Voice too, but I don't think it was season 4. Blessing. He's, Blessing Offer, he's blind.
Oh, okay.
Right? I got a chance to interview him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was it? Okay, well, I'm just gonna ask this now because it's not even related to that. But what was it like, that experience being on in The Voice and American Idol? Was it what you expected?
They're very different, but you know, going into the Voice, not really knowing what I was doing, that was my first experience. You know, it was pretty crazy because you had to go out and live in California in a hotel room that you couldn't leave for like 2 months before you even got to do the audition.
Yeah.
So it was very strange. Like, you're kind of sequestered from everybody, trying not to get sick because you don't want to mess with your vocal cords and stuff like that. And you'd meet with you know, vocal coaches and stuff and run your songs, get everything ready. And then they came in and they, you know, dressed me up a certain way, and the producers made my story into something.
So you don't even get to pick necessarily how you're dressing; they do all that for you.
And so that was kind of my like initial shock and like introduction into the entertainment industry, or TV, I should say. And then, you know, 2 years later, doing American Idol, it was a little bit different, where I came in and, you know, I was able to be myself a lot more, pick all my own songs, you know, dress the way I want to dress, stuff like that.
So Idol gave you a little bit more freedom as far as that than The Voice did?
Yeah, but I mean, I think doing The Voice the first time enabled me to be able to kind of get past that initial shock.
Oh, yeah, he's a little fussy right now.
Right.
So, you know, we had a chance to kind of explain what the project was before we hit record, obviously, and let you know kind of what you're a part of. So knowing that just by giving me 15 minutes of your time is helping to raise 1,000 meals for kids, and you have a little one at home, you know, how do you feel about that, knowing that there's so many kids that are, cool, look at you, look at that. Right? Oh, rocking the aviators, right? Yeah. That's awesome. We totally got that. That's awesome. So knowing that you have little ones at home too like that, how does that, you know, hit home with you, knowing that there's a lot of kids who are going hungry right here in our own backyard that aren't getting the help they need?
Well, you know, I mean, I always feel anything that I can do to contribute to, you know, helping anybody that's less advantaged is always good, you know, and, you know, just being able to, just from being on a TV show and playing music and, you know, being able to help just by doing an interview, you know, that's awesome. It makes me feel great. You know, I love the fact that, I don't know, you know, just, I don't know, just being able to do what I do, and that people love it, and that it can help people in the same time, it's kind of a blessing. When
you hear the word hunger, so we've talked about child hunger, and you hear that, what image comes to your mind when you think of a child who's hungry?
Oh, jeez, crying. And unhappiness, you know.
See, and I like that because in the last several interviews I've done, you know, it used to be where people would say somebody who's poor, somebody in another country, you know, and it isn't that case anymore. I wish they would understand that it's actually our middle class who are suffering the most. The ones who, sorry, I know, the ones who, you know, don't get the food stamps, and are kind of told, you know, you make too much to get help, but yet it's not enough for them to make ends meet, and those are the ones who are ultimately suffering, if that's even the right word, struggling the most.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, it's a struggle. I mean, just the thought of a kid having to be hungry is painful. You know?
Our big thing with No Kid Hungry right now and doing the interviews over the summer is the fact that a lot of kids, it's fight or flight mode is what I call it over the summer. And you know, when I interviewed Kentucky Headhunters last night, he didn't realize that we have kids who will they'll start hoarding food in May. They'll start putting food in their desks, you know, and these teachers have to tell them that
when they get home,
when they get home, or for summer hitting. So our big thing is trying to make sure that they don't go hungry for the summer because they're used to getting that breakfast and lunch in school. And then when summer hits, where are they going to get it from?
Right.
So summer is really scary for foster families, foster parents, for social workers, for everybody. And so our big thing is trying to make sure that, you know, they don't go hungry over the summer. And so by doing this interview, you are ultimately becoming a part of making sure that they don't go hungry.
Right.
So that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
You know, for those who out there who maybe say, yeah, you know, it's not my problem, I don't care, or they should just go get a job, which some of the parents actually have jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say to the ones who dismiss it as, it's not my problem, I really don't care, it doesn't affect me? You know, what message would you have for them?
Well, I don't know. I've always been of the mindset that you know, anything you can give back is always you know, it's always a good thing to do. And the benefits that you get just, you know, of giving something, you know, it comes back, you know, threefold. You know, you know, and if you have the resources to be able to help people out, you should. Especially children. I don't know. You know,
Isn't that I don't want?
I feel like if I had the resources to help more than I already do, I would. But you know, I'm still in a place where I'm trying to make all my bills. You know. But
The aspiring musician who's
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
make it big.
yeah, everyone's always like, "Oh, you must just not have to work." And stuff. I'm like, nah.
Right,
But
Dad?
you know, I mean, and I get it too. I've been in the place where, you know, paycheck hasn't come in yet, or you know, there's no room on the credit card left, and
Yeah.
you know, got to buy formula. Where do I get the money from?
Right?
You know, and
and
it's
they make
a
decisions
struggle. It's
between
real.
like the electric bill and the food, you
Yeah.
know, and it's not always a matter of not working or being lazy. I mean, there are those who abuse the privilege or make it sound bad, but there's so many who...
There's always bad apples.
Right, everywhere. But there's
Yeah.
a lot who are working 2 jobs and still
Yeah.
can't afford to make ends meet. And last night they mentioned something about living that whole, you know, keeping up with the Joneses lifestyle, trying to compete with everybody.
Right.
You know, and I did that years ago, and then I just went, you know what, this is ridiculous.
Right.
My kids don't need the latest Xbox. I mean, we have one. I'm guilty, but it took a while to get it. But I mean,
Sure.
we're years behind.
Yeah.
You know, but we don't have to have the latest one or the newest game.
I've driven used cars my whole life. Never gonna buy a brand new one.
Right? I don't have a brand new one. Mine's a 2002, so it's what, over 10 years old easily.
Right.
But you know, it gets us from point A to point B.
Oh yeah.
We don't need to have the newest car. I can't afford the insurance on it.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so it just. And when people go to eat or they do stuff, and I put, you know, I think of them going to the barn and wasting $60. I'm like, that just could have been 600 meals.
Right.
I think it that way, and I'm such a bore that way, but I just can't justify.
Yeah, you know, when I was on The Voice, we did a great thing where we worked with Starbucks, and we went and we helped pack. I think it was 5,000 meals or something with Starbucks to feed the hungry, and that was a very fulfilling experience. You know, it was like kidney beans and rice.
Yep.
And some sauces and stuff like that, but just to be able to do that, and you know, a lot of the other kids were sitting there just being all jovial, and I'm like sitting there breaking a sweat, packing these things down and making it run.
Right.
It might also be the landscape foreman in me, but
Right.
but yeah, you know, I felt good just to get it done and you know, be able to help people out, and you know, when I've had opportunities, you know, I always try to help out with whatever I can. You know. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, unless you have anything else to add, that's just kind of where we're at with that. You know, it's been a really good interview. It doesn't take very long, but you know, unless you can think of anything else to add to it.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I think people need to. You know, if you can help, if you have the extra couple bucks, send it somewhere that it can help.
Well, kids, you know, and I'm all about seeing hunger end everywhere. I mean, I'd love to see a world where it doesn't exist, but realistically, we need to start in our own backyard first, whether it be Brainerd or Minneapolis.
Well,
or I mean,
the UN's working on, you know, the big hunger stuff right now, and they've taken care of a lot of it. But at the same time, it's like,
but we
big picture, but we
forget
can
that it
still do the little
happens
picture
here.
while we're here. Yeah.
We forget that it happens here.
In your own backyard. Yeah.
Yep, and then you don't think about it. You just think of the kids on the TV with the whole, you know, for $5 cup of coffee, and while that's true, we forget that they're right here.
Yeah.
And they need the help the most. In fact, I think I heard that one of the biggest areas that needs the most help is New York.
Oh, really? Wow.
I suppose they're way more populated
Well, the housing
than we are.
is ridiculously expensive.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
I've never been out there, so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's. I mean, most people that work there have to commute in because it's too expensive to live.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Well, we are going to sign off for the second interview of the Iconic Fest first year happening for No Kid Hungry with Mark. So thank you, Mark, very much for your interview.
Thank you.
It's appreciated.
It's great.